Actually, what's a realistic expectation for parental involvement?
Just for simple thing as spelling, the involvement is a lot.
I'm wondering, are we also giving their parents more work?
Kids with very involved parents, there's definitely a difference in terms of how they see school, the outcome. You can see that it's done properly and all that. If you are involved from the beginning, the kid also will value their own education.
It's hard, right, as working parents to need to be that involved, but I think at the same time, that's a responsibility we can't really shy away from, right? You know, Naga, my wife is going to hate me for saying this, but she's been telling me that she feels like after our elder son went to primary school, she's gone back to primary school also. Because, I think you inevitably get sucked into the things that you need to help your kid do, like spelling.
Yeah.
Like packing the bag.
Of course.
Like ensuring that homework gets done, ensuring that you sit next to him and do SLS, you know, on home-based learning days. And I don't know, sometimes I can't help but wonder. So, I mean, I hear that and I'm just thinking about our own curriculum and, parents sending their kids to us. And I'm wondering, are we also giving their parents more work? We had this big, not debate, but we were grappling a lot with whether and how much spelling and dictation and all that to incorporate into our work, right? So, I mean, it's quite pertinent to our curriculum design, right?
Of course, for spelling is important. But of course, when we give spelling, right, how the kid learns the spelling, it's we don't think about it. I think even when I started putting in the spelling list every alternate weeks and all that, I didn't think about how they're going to learn.
You mean back when we first incorporated?
We incorporated, right? We just put the list in and say, okay, learn. Okay, we will test you next week. That's all. Yeah. It's the homework, part of the homework. How the kid is going to learn the spelling, we didn't think about it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. I think I started thinking about it after my son started getting spelling.
When was that?
Yeah, I think this year only.
Kindergarten.
K2. K1, I think end of the K1 started already. So I said, okay, spelling. So then, you have to break the word down.
Yeah.
So how much work the parents have to do for the spelling, it's more than actually how much the parents do for just basic homework. Basic homework, actually, you can just say, okay, do your homework, fill in the pages, complete the task and finish already. But spelling, you can't do that. You really have to sit down, break the word up, because if you just let the kid do the learning of the spelling, they're just going to stare at the page.
Yeah.
Unless they have photographic memory.
Or they know how to test themselves.
I don't think many of them know. Yeah. So they're just going to stare at that and then all that. So, and then, okay, learning, fine, you let them do that. But also at the same time, you have to test them once. At home, the parent must do test one or trial run, that kind of thing. So you have to do the trial run first and then test it and then check whether they have learned properly. So the involvement in parent, just for simple thing as spelling, I shouldn't say simple thing anymore, but simple thing as spelling, the involvement is a lot. So I totally understand where your wife coming from.
I want to switch gears, right? Because, sometimes I forget that you were a school teacher.
Okay.
So I think what we're really trying to talk about here is, actually, what's a realistic expectation for parental involvement when your kids is in school? I mean, I guess you can draw from both our curriculum and our kids and back when you were still in the ministry and all that.
I think I didn't think about it much.
Because you weren't a parent yet. Some things we just realize.
Yeah. Something you only feel it when you are in it, I think. Yeah. So now I feel it, how much you have to do. Or maybe it's just that we just assume that there is involvement. But of course, kids with very involved parents, there's definitely a difference in terms of how they see school, the outcome, how they approach school, how they do the work and all that. You can see that it's done properly and all that. So that's a basic thing. But I think coming back to the fact that the expectation, I think now I don't put, now because it's tuition, I don't actually expect parents to really help, because I think they send to us because they need the help.
Yeah,
that's a basic understanding. Sure, yeah. So I now I don't really expect the parents to help, except for this spelling thing. Now it will come to my, I've been enlightened that actually you have to test the kid once. Yeah. Because you can see when the kid comes for the spelling test and then, gets most of it wrong, it's because nobody has tested him. Or the parent doesn't even know that there is spelling that week. Yeah. That's why the kid has just probably looked at it, learned the spelling already, and then come and then got it all wrong. So that's the involvement, how much involvement we are looking at.
I do. Now that we talk about this, I remember when I went for the P1 orientation, then the principal was like, oh, like this is I think he said 3-way partnership. It's like, the teacher and then the parents and then the kids. And I mean, back then it just sounds like, oh yeah, you're just saying. But now we realize, right, like it's cannot be helped, right? I think we had this other episode where we were talking about like how our mothers used to like, ask us to do homework and all that.
The discipline came in is that because mom came in, you were scared, right?
The supervision matters.
The supervision matters. So I think parents...
For better or worse.
I will take a positive stance on it. Parents have to be there.
And I mean, the fact is you need that level of supervision and you need that level of like egging. And I mean, we all had I remember like Chinese spelling. Last time it was like... We had dual sessions. Yeah. We had dual sessions. So I remember like when I was P3, 4, I think it was afternoon session. So morning, wake up, breakfast, then it's, as you said, it's 听写, and just like doing that and just doing the homework and all that. So, I mean, it's hard, right, as working parents, to need to be that involved. But I think at the same time, that's a responsibility we can't really shy away from, right?
Of course. I mean, coming back to our own experience, right? So, let me just share. So basically, when I was a kid, right? So, spelling has been around for don't know how many years lah. So since I was a kid, right? So, my mom was a housewife, and she is not very like well educated, but she had this drive to make sure I am educated, right? So she, and she's very particular. You can't get anything wrong. There's no room for error. That's the approach. I was brought up like that. So spelling is one of the things she will look at. There's no way I should get anything wrong. So how I was taught spelling is very unique. So basically, I will be given the spelling list. She's not going to even break down the words. Okay, now I see, and now we break down the words for them. We say cover, vowels, consonants, and all that. So last time my mom doesn't do that. She just gives me the list. Okay, she'll give me the list and she will put me on top of washing machine. My washing machine last time was very high, so I cannot get down myself.
How old were you?
This one is P1, P2, I think.
This one nowadays cannot do already.
Cannot do. Last time can do.
They will call police.
My mom wouldn't care. She will do. So she'll say, if you want to come down, go and play and all that, you have to get all correct. Okay. So I see, it already sounds bad, right? You're already laughing. But it doesn't end there. So basically she puts me there. Yeah, by the way, I'm not complaining. I must tell my mom watched the podcast. So I'm not complaining, Amma. So basically, so she'll put me up there and she will say, give me the list. Okay, probably 10 words. So I will learn. This like the photographic memory thing. Just learn word by word and all that. Just try to memorize. The main thing comes after that. She doesn't even know the word. She will not know the word.
She can't read the word.
She can't read the word. Or she will know how to read the word. She will just say the first word. Then I must write. Okay? And sometimes I think spelling is already hard already, right? So when somebody tell you the word, like example, the first word is skirt. Okay, if it's clothes, skirt. So if they tell you skirt, at least the person pronounce it SKIRT. You actually
then you don't even need her to test you out, right? Because you're basically memorizing the whole list and writing it out yourself.
Yes. So basically, so I've been like advanced to another level. So she will just tell me the first word. Then if I still like stammer, she will say the first letter is S. Then I must figure out. So I was taught this way. But that's how involved my mom was in my education, even though she was not educated. So I think that actually helped me a lot in a way, even though it might sound scary. But I think it really had an impact on me as if you are involved parent, how much involvement you can put. Nowadays, of course, most parents are educated. You know what it's tested in school. You have gone through school yourself. So I think involvement is very important. I think as a teacher, how I see parent involvement is that if you are involved in the beginning, that means even before the outcome is there, from the beginning, you want to know what is being covered, how is it being covered, how is your child coping with school and all that, then I think the outcome in the end is much better. Then I think some parents might not be that involved from the beginning. Then when the outcome comes, they try to come in and then try to solve the problem. I think a bit late. So I think parent involvement is very important now. Even though, we understand as also being parents, we don't have the time. But I think if you are involved from the beginning, the kid also will value their own education because they see the importance because the parents are on it. Yeah, so I think that's.
I think for primary schools, I mean, I think what the school is asking for, to be honest, is quite fair.
Yeah.
You know, like our extra workload after our kid goes to P1 is, I would say it's expected. I don't think there's anything unreasonable there.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, like, how do you think about on the tuition side then? Because obviously, you know, when parents come to us, it might be because like not maybe for the lack of trying, because you know, like you gave the spelling example just now, but that's P1 too, right? But as it goes higher, then how do you help your kid? Like, how do you be involved beyond going, hey, you know, you do homework, you know? So that's where they come to us, right?
Yeah.
So what's that realistic level of parental involvement, you know, we hope to see,
I think
especially for like, you know, maybe the primary level kids?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I say there's a difference between how a school teacher would expect parents to be involved and how a tutor. I think we don't expect, as a tutor, we don't expect that much. Of course, that's why I say a lot of parents are sending to us because they're not able to help themselves. But I think involvement is not really like teaching. It is just when they send to us already, I think after that, the involvement changes from teaching to monitoring, whether work gets done, whether they are listening in
You mean the parents' role?
Yeah, the role changes, from teaching. Because I think...
So our expected involvement is we need the monitoring because we're not at home with them.
Yeah, we're not at home. So we do the teaching here already. School does the teaching. Second level of teaching is done in the tuition. So because the parents are sending to us because they either don't have the time to teach or they can't teach because they're not teachers. The subject matter is not theirs. So they're sending for tuition. So after that, I think it's just to monitor whether the child does the work completely, whether it's done properly, whether there's deadlines met, homework gets completed, submitted well. I think this is the role of the parent changes a bit. And then trying to get feedback from the teachers and the tutors. So this is what the role of the parent has become. Still involved, but not in the teaching the subject matter, sitting down with them and doing with them. But make sure they do this and then make sure they submit to the person, the tutor, who can mark and then evaluate their learning so that the learning can go on in the correct direction.
I think one thing we're trying to do as well is to kind of feed as much information back to them as possible. Right, I think, you know, just go into details is like, you know, right from the diagnostic test and then the trial report and then the assessments and then the assessment report and then like the weekly, you know, personalized updates. I think you're right. I think you kind of captured it quite nicely, which is their job is to monitor. It's like you're the GM, you know, you're the CEO. Rather than you have to like go trench deep and go dig and figure out what's happening. I think we're just there to like kind of feed information back to you. And I think the partnership is just there, right? It's not too onerous. It's like, just tell us, keep an eye, because work still has to be done outside of class. Like, can't be helped, right? I mean, it's 2 hours a week. You're going to have homework. I mean, we give you a ton of cheat sheets. We can give you resources to revise and all that. But like, there are things that have to be done because, you know, there could be a lag between like the lesson and the WA and all that. And really, yeah, like you said, I think their job is just to make sure that things get done. And we do all the problem solving. We feed the information to you and you just ensure that your child does their part.